Ladies and gentlemen, from Staples Center, Los Angeles, California, USA, the action continues, and of course it's brought to you by Golden Boy Promotions and Gary Shaw Productions. Sponsored by Tecate, Cerveza con Carácter, AT&T, get it faster with 4G, rethink possible, and Ripley's Believe It or Not, proudly freaking out families for 90 years. This contest sanctioned by the California State Athletic Commission, and this next bout will be for the vacant WBO Intercontinental title, along with the IBF #1 ranking in the world and the WBC #1 world ranking. At ringside, the three judges scoring will be Wayne Hedgepeth, Patricia Morse-Jarman, and Fritz Warner. And inside the ring, in charge of the action, your referee at the bell, Jack Reese. And now 12 rounds of boxing in the junior welterweight division. Fighting out of the blue corner, wearing light blue trimmed with silver, official weight 139.4 pounds. A perfect professional record consisting of 21 fights, 21 victories, including 14 knockouts. From the city of brotherly love, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, ranked number 5 in the world, Danny Swift Garcia. And fighting out of the red corner, wearing blue with red and gray, official weight 139.4 pounds. His professional record, outstanding 27 victories, including 16 knockouts against 4 defeats. From Paterson, New Jersey, USA, the former world champion, Kendall Rated R. Holt.
Hey, good luck.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Let's go. Everybody out. Seconds out. Chief, second only. All right, buddy, come up here for a second. Mr. Swift right over here. All right, look, both of their trunks are high, so I am going to let them work in here. So I don't want to hear any, yelling about what's going on in here. Listen, obey my commands at all times. Protect yourself at all times. Fight hard, fight clean. Good luck.
This is a real crossroads fight. Is Danny Garcia just too young for Kendall Holt? Is he too easy to hit for a still dangerous veteran puncher like Kendall Holt?
You ready?
It is indeed a fascinating matchup. Seeing this fight, and given the difference in competition up to this point, Garcia just hasn't been in against the kinds of guys Kendall Holt has already faced in his career. It tells you that Golden Boy, Garcia's promoter, either A, believes he's going to be a tremendous fighter and that he's already emerged at a level where it's safe enough for him to face a proven, experienced puncher like Holt, or they're not sure and they want to find out. One thing they'll find out most likely tonight is how well can Garcia take a punch, because Kendall Holt still has some pop, Emmanuel.
I think it's probably a case of them wanting to find out what they've got. They've brought him along carefully. He's fought on so many of the cards earlier and has held up one fight but never did devastate an opponent. So I think at this stage they want to find out what he's got. And they have enough fighters under contract where they could afford to have a loss if they did, in this case.
In 2009 and 2010, it might have looked to some as though Kendall Holt had hit the end of the road. He lost to Tim Bradley in a decision, and then he was knocked out by Kaiser Mabuza in 6 rounds in his home state of New Jersey. But last year, this year I should say, Holt picked up 2 quick knockout wins, sort of polishing back his power game, and it's obviously the chance to land a big punch and put himself back into the spotlight in the division that brings him here tonight against Garcia.
Tim Bradley eyeing Pacquiao, and Amir Khan looking like he's not going to be long for the 140-pound division. The division really is wide open, and the winner of this fight is really in an excellent position going forward.
Stop punching. Let him go. Get off that back.
Kendall Holt wearing New York Giants numbers 27 and 20. He's managed by the Giants running back. Is that right, Max?
Brandon Jacobs who was a good amateur fighter. Stick and move guy, believe it or not.
That is amazing. He's not sticking and moving in the NFL.
Stop. Nobody punch. Everybody step away. Let him go, Ken.
Nice little short right hand by Kendall Holt right there. And it's interesting that he looks so much more matured and much more professional and coordinated at this stage than Danny. I'm a little bit surprised. I thought that Danny's great amateur background, and he's had over 21 fights. This is the time he has to make his move regardless of what. But at this stage,
Nobody punch.
Holt looks
Let
much
each other
more
go.
mature, much more stronger, and much more powerful.
We've seen fighters like Garcia, despite the brilliant background, freeze at this moment. That's why they called them crossroads fights. It's a mental challenge. Can you deal with a guy who is far better than the people you've seen up to this point?
And Garcia has also never been hard to find with headshots. His head stays in the middle.
And partially that's because he's a focused body puncher who wants to get his hands down into position to throw to the body.
Sorry, Ken. Saw their break there.
Listen, with the bucket, ring top. Listen, beautiful. Listen, stay focused, okay? Go under. When he leaps in, come with the overhand right, Dan. Okay? Don't stand in for that hook, okay? Watch his hook, okay? All right, look, I told you, the overhand right, Dan. Okay, use your jab, okay? Listen.
Let's start with the jab this round. Now, don't look for the one shot, okay? Everything's great, baby. Don't look for the one shot. Here's some water. Relax. Relax, baby. Look, come out with the jab this round. Keep the jab working, but keep backing him up. Don't let him come forward, okay? Don't let him come forward. Don't get lazy in there.
Here you see what I consider the major difference between the two fighters. Kendall Holt's punches are much more shorter, much more accurate as compared to Garcia's, which are much more lunging and looping.
Kendall.
And those two punches were the biggest ones Holt landed. The two fighters combined to only throw 48 punches in the first round. That's why we talked so much. It was a slow-paced round. But Holt landed 8. 5 of them were power connects, and you saw the right and left hand, which were both crunching shots, and may well have won him the round. Emmanuel, if Danny Garcia can crank it up and do well, what is it that makes him good?
Well, I think he has a good basic fundamental
Stop both of you.
background, as I always said. But I'm noticing his punches, they're wide. You look at Kendall Holt's punches, everything is much more crisper, much more sharper, much more snappier. So if they even get in exchanges, Holt's probably going to get the better of the punches at exchange because of his more accurate, shorter punches.
When I say head stays in the middle, by the way, I mean, you know, Danny Garcia doesn't move his head. You see there.
Holt lands another right.
When he punches, when he plays defense, his head is pretty stationary. And against a veteran fighter, especially one with power, that, you know,
Stop.
not
That's
a good thing.
point. That's a good point because when you see Holt throws his punches, his head moves with the punches. He's punching and moving into a defensive position at the same time. Where Garcia punches, but his head stays stationary in one position.
Holt believes he can clean Garcia up with a left hook.
Incidentally, if you're looking for a reason to root for Kendall Holt, he's a single father and has been for 8 years. His 8-year-old son is a midget football star and a good student in the northern New Jersey community where they live. If you're looking for a reason to root for Danny Garcia, he comes from a family of asthmatics. He's the only one not bothered by asthma. To a certain degree, fights in honor of his twin 10-year-old sisters who both battle that disease.
Holt's son is playing during
Buddy, try to
halftime of the
fix that cup for me,
Giants-Bills
buddy.
game tomorrow at the Meadowlands, at the new Meadowlands.
Well, that's not bad.
Whatever they call Giant Stadium nowadays.
That comes from a
Stop.
Giants fan, in case you're
Breaks the
wondering
break.
whether there's confusion. That's referee Jack Reese, incidentally. A good one.
Very good referee.
Take care of that in between rounds. Box.
MetLife Stadium is the Giants Stadium.
The power of Holt's punches has made a difference already in the fight. And you wonder how Garcia is going to find his way into position to develop the body attack, which is essential to his chances to win.
All right, stop. No punching.
So
Emmanuel,
far,
when you're developing a prospect like Danny Garcia, the last step, always the last step, right, is to find a puncher and find out whether he can handle that
Yeah,
test.
but it's, I would not put him in with a puncher on the level of Kendall Holt. You know, it's difficult. Because,
Good right hand by Garcia.
Real big test.
Best shot of the fight.
For him.
Listen, use your legs. Okay, if you're thinking to set him up, but use the jab a little bit. Okay, just don't come down the middle with everything, okay? You gotta stay focused, just breathe, come on. Okay? Stay focused, come on, Danny, man. Okay, use the jab, listen, use the jab. When you gotta think, move around a little bit, use your legs, okay? And when you counter, he's trying to counter you on top of over, you're standing up, go low, go right out, low, shoot, right out of it.
Don't let this guy get no damn confidence.
Kendall, stand up and come to me when you get up.
Okay, stand up, baby. We got to fix your cup. Hey, listen. Kendall, man, you're making this harder than what it has to be, baby.
What can we do?
Here you see Garcia landing, which was the best punch of the fight for him and probably the most significant punch that has been really scored in the fight. Great right hand.
And that helped to
Danny, number 3.
even things up a little bit for Garcia after Holt was controlling him through most of the first 2 rounds. In that round, CompuBox numbers were 11 of 28 for Holt and 4 of 31 for Garcia, but the one big right hand won the round for Garcia on Harold Letterman's scorecard.
Although on second view, maybe it was a little bit more of an arm punch, Emmanuel, than it
Yes.
first appeared.
Yeah, it was more of an arm punch. It wasn't a real straight punch, but it was still the best punch that he's landed.
Yeah, and Holt
It-
grimaced and
yes,
stepped backward,
yes.
which helped it to look
It-
like a bigger punch than it
Probably,
was.
probably enough to win the round.
Oh,
Right, same right hand again.
now Garcia's
Right hand again.
youthful energy is starting to show, beating Holt to the punch with the right hand.
Sudden reversal in the fight, seemingly brought about by Garcia's ability to land the right hand at the end of the last round.
And maybe more importantly, Holt's seeming inability to take the power. Garcia's actually taken Holt's power pretty well so far.
And now Garcia is beginning to, as I said, develop the body attack necessary for him to win.
I was just getting ready to say that if he's going to win this fight, he's going to have to take some risks and step it up and quit fighting a systematic fight because Holt is too sharp and too accurate. He's doing exactly what he has to do, man, so take his risks.
Suddenly Garcia is in command and Holt looks off stride.
And on cue, Jim, there's Garcia going to the body.
That's his game. That's the way he'll win the fight if he's able to win it.
I think it was a good point you made, Max, that Garcia has taken Holt's punches without showing as much reaction, whereas when he started hitting Holt, Holt seems to be starting to give now.
Yeah. Garcia's punches don't look especially devastating, but they're having kind of a devastating effect.
Yeah, they're wide, moving punches, but they're effective.
Well, part of the question here tonight was how much of Kendall Holt is left, and the degree to which he seems to be damaged by Danny Garcia's connects in the last minute and a half suggests less than Holt might like. But there's a big uppercut by Kendall Holt, which momentarily shifts the tide again.
Stop. No punching. Let him go, Ken.
Good jab by Garcia. Now Holt looks to be in that quagmire of the fighter who's looking to land one big shot and is getting beaten to the punch by a more
Yeah,
active guy.
But really what bothers me in this case here, that it seems like he really couldn't take Garcia's punch, even though it didn't seem like it was that hard. And he's giving Garcia a lot of respect now.
Everything changed after Garcia landed the one right hand at the end of round 2. And no longer does Holt strut with the confidence he was showing up to that point. It was clear in round 1 that Holt felt as though his power was going to control the fight. There's Garcia ripping to the body again with the left, and he stepped up his game dramatically in round 3.
Listen, hey, you're not using your jab, Kendall. Kendall, you're not using your jab, baby. You okay?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, let's use the jab, baby. You're not moving your head.
Hey, wake him up right here. Where's that pack?
Okay, you're not moving your head. You're standing there getting hit with shots. For what?
Let's go.
Okay, you got to find your rhythm, baby. Now let's go with the jab.
Yeah, he's been going to his hook. Because he's trying to catch you going out. He catch everybody like that. Because everybody stands up. Go under low, right out of there. Give me some euros to the body, man. Listen, boom, euros. Listen, overhand right, euro, man. Overhand right, the shot I'm trying to tell you. Let's go knock him out.
On my head.
You heard me?
Here you see Garcia land that looping right hand of his right high on the head of Holt, and maybe like some fighters, Holt's weakness might be the head area and more so than the chin.
Power punches in round 3. Holt 4 out of 10. Garcia 19 out of 36. Also, Garcia with a 23-6 connect advantage in that round after only 8 total connected punches in the first 2 rounds. Harold, how do you have it through 3?
I tell you, Jim, when Danny Garcia gets into the groove, he's a heck of a prospect. 2 rounds to 1, 29-28, Danny Garcia. I tell you, just like you called it, at the end of the second round, Danny Garcia found his groove. He shows that he's a tough Philadelphia fighter. He's got a heck of a right hand. He uses that ring beautifully. You know, nice ring generalship. See, leans in, moves to the side so Kendall can't counter him. You know, real good fighter. Terrific prospect. 2 rounds to 1, Danny Garcia. And take a look at this referee. Jack Reese has to be one of the best referees in the world today. Give him credit.
Jim, I think the punch stat from the last round tells the story. It's the veteran Holt who's falling into the trap of looking to set up 1 punch.
Yep.
And Garcia,
Stop. No
meanwhile, is
punching.
throwing
No
2
punch.
and 3 at a time.
Those gloves.
When we asked Kendall Holt about his losses to Bradley and Kaiser Mabusa in the last couple of years, he said something that sounded fairly nonsensical to me, which was, I used to go to, or wake up on the day of the weigh-in at 147 and then sweat down to 140 to make weight, and I thought that was the right thing to do. Obviously, he was damaging himself going into fights and weakening himself if that was, in fact, the case. Tonight, he's fighting for the first time with Buddy McGirt, and you hope that the more experienced veteran trainer McGirt can help him to another level. Certainly, he says that he learned how to weigh in the right way and get ready for this fight. But the reaction he shows when Garcia lands a power punch suggests that maybe there hasn't been enough consistent preparation over the years.
That's the main thing that's been the difference to me in the fight. When Garcia's been hit by good shots from Holt, he's been able to deal with them. When Holt gets hit by any punches from Garcia, even those lunge and looping type shots, he reacts as if they really hurt him. It takes his confidence for a while. And that's the difference in the fight to me at this stage.
Holt is 30 and fighting in his 32nd prize fight. Garcia's only 23. 21 and 0 coming in.
There just also looks to be a little more fight in Danny Garcia.
Yes.
Emmanuel, Garcia is trained by his father, who by his own admission wasn't a fighter because he has asthma. That's something that normally doesn't work, but this is a fairly well-trained fighter.
He's a very basic, well-trained kid, but, you know, coming from Philadelphia, you know, he's had great experience out of those tournaments. I used to see him in the amateurs with the Philadelphia team, boxing with top fighters, and just the sparring sessions over there. So just being around that type of a situation, you have to develop.
Max may be sitting with us at ringside right now, but earlier this evening he went to Hopkins' dressing room and interviewed him. Let's take a look.
20 middleweight title defenses, proving the naysayers wrong since day one. Oldest man to ever win a championship in the history of boxing. What is keeping you going?
To compete on a top level and be a champion is representing that first, and then I can still do it and I still have fun doing it. So that keeps me mentally in the game, and physically I just prepare myself to win all the time. Win.
You've said before, and you're right, age doesn't retire fighters. The ring retires fighters. The ring hasn't retired you. But usually older fighters are very selective about who they fight. And the perception was you were ducking Chad Dawson for a couple years. What are you doing taking the fight now, 6'2" southpaw with only 1 loss?
Well, I think that was his perception, but I made it even better now, and that's why we're here. Tonight's going to show whether the old saying, be careful what you ask for, has always been something that people that ask for something too soon, they normally got what they really didn't want. So I'm here to represent that. So he said I was ducking him. You can't say that no more. In a couple of hours, we'll be taking care of business.
And now we bring you back live to what's happening in the ring. CompuBox numbers in the 4th round. Holt only 4 of 26. Garcia 11 of 32. Slow-paced fight, actually probably figuring in Garcia's favor at this moment. They've traded left hooks here in round number 5. Now let's see if Holt can find some way to get his game back in gear. And that probably at this point requires that he lands a big shot, because for the last couple rounds he was clearly looking to land one big one.
Break.
He's got to be busy because his punches are much more faster and accurate when he does have an exchange with Garcia. He just doesn't punch enough. This round he's come out looked like with more intensity and anxiety than he has in the previous rounds.
Yeah, because the pace is so slow.
Break.
Garcia hasn't been forced to trade with a puncher.
No.
That would be the nightmare for Golden Boy matchmaker Eric Gomez.
But, you know, Holt is still going to have to step it up some. You know, he's just doing all of the motions, showing he has the coordination, speed, but still reluctant to let his punches go.
Good double left hook by Garcia.
Stop. Let me see. Come here. Let me see yours. I got a butt, no blood. All right?
Excellent.
Accidental.
Credit where credit is due to Jack Reese.
As forecasted by Harold Letterman. You know, guys,
Left hook by Holt.
Jim, you talk about how Danny Garcia's father has coached him up in spite of not being a fighter himself. I don't know, when I see Garcia, I don't see anything that jumps out at me as being so terrific, but it's what you guys were talking about, coming out of that Philadelphia gym climb environment. It's Darwinian. You know, you don't get to this level out of those gyms without having something in you, regardless of who's training you, that is supremely competitive, and I think Garcia does have that.
Stop. No punches. Step away from each other. Stop, both of you. Separate.
Round 5 coming to a close. Kendall Holt fighting in spurts and therefore leaving space for Danny Garcia to pile up points and do what he wants with his body punching over the course of the past few rounds.
Stop punching.
Don't get into that. Listen to me. Don't get into that. Don't get into that. When you start doing that, there's nothing there. You heard what I said? Don't do that. Let's not do that. I need the jab. And I need straight right hand down the pipe. You're not using your right hand. I need you to use your right hand too, Dan. You're a two-hand fighter, not a one-hand fighter. Okay, you're going underneath and all that. He's missing a lot of shots. Trying to catch you with a lucky shot. It's not gonna happen. As long as you stay focused, you keep you.
Oh, man, that's all you gotta do. Let your hands go. Okay, you're not letting your hands go. Got the mouthpiece, Mike?
Let's go.
Step to him with the jab. Don't give no ground. He's got a lot of respect for you. Keep it. Keep backing him up with the jab. Don't let him come forward. If you stay in the front, I'll move your head and counter. No backward step. Let's go.
In case you feel as though you're watching a curiously slow-paced fight, you're right. The junior welterweight average for punches landed and thrown is 18 out of 60. In other words, the mean average for any junior welterweight counted by CompuBox is that he lands 18 out of 60 punches per round. Average punches through 5 in this fight: Holt 7 out of 23, Garcia 11 out of 35. Should we deduct from their paychecks?
Break. Step away from each
You know,
other.
it is curious though, Jim, because on paper it's not exactly Ward Gaddy, but Garcia's a pretty busy fighter, and Holt maybe looks for one shot at a time, but given their styles, there was a real potential for fireworks here, and they have yet to materialize.
Now, you heard Buddy McGirt between rounds. Obviously, he thinks that's the case because Holt isn't letting his hands go. Holt seems to be making more of an effort to let him go in this round, but it's not exactly a whirlwind.
And there's interesting Garcia's father telling him to throw more jabs. And that's a punch I haven't saw him throw tonight, in fact. I can't recall really one jab.
He landed 2 straight right hands to the body. A punch that Kendall Holt should have been able to counter with a left hook and didn't even try. Right hand over the top by Holt. Kind of cuffs Danny Garcia on the back of the head.
Stop.
I think it's possible, Emmanuel, that when each guy looks at the other, he thinks, oh, this guy's easy to hit, let me load up, and that's taken away from them using their jabs?
No, I just think it's a habit. And Garcia punches all looping punches, and basically Holt is just he's going for a knockout. You know, just just astounds. And everything that Garcia does, he throws them, as you said, maybe a little wide, doesn't do any one thing exceptionally well, but fundamentally, in a certain way, he's still a winning and a good fighter.
Yeah.
Stop. Nobody punch. Step away.
About a year ago, the 140-pound weight class was seen as a loaded weight class. At this point,
Stop. No punching.
with Devin
no punching.
Alexander
Good.
having already vacated and gone up to welterweight, if both Tim Bradley and Amir Khan leave and go up to welterweight, 140 is going to look pretty barren.
Yep. Well, Malignaggi and Diaz were there too. Now neither is
Stop. Come here.
Malignaggi
Stop.
nor Juan Diaz.
Good. Let's go.
Juan Manuel Marquez looked like he could be headed there. It hasn't happened.
Marquez still more comfortable at 135 pounds, where he's always been, or at least where he's been the champion since he settled in.
Stop.
Sad
Nobody
Judah
punch.
looked
Nobody
revitalized
punch.
at 140 and then lost badly to Amir Khan.
Referee
Good
Jack
right
Reese
hand by Danny Garcia.
is doing a good job.
Good left hook by Danny Garcia. Good body shots by Garcia.
Stop.
Oh, you gotta like that. Hurts Holt to the head and goes right to the body.
Absolutely, you gotta love that. Multiple body shots, and now Holt is trying to reverse this with one big shot in return, and lands a left hook to close the round. And now let's take a look at the conversation that took place in Chad Dawson's dressing room with Max Kellerman.
Chad Dawson, tonight you get in the ring with Bernard Hopkins. Did you ever think this day would come?
Honestly, no. I've been waiting for this moment all my life. I got the big opportunity to perform on a big stage, pay-per-view, and show the world what I'm really made of.
Why didn't you think this day would come against Bernard?
Because I really didn't think Bernard was interested in fighting me. I lost to Pascal. He fought Pascal. He beat Pascal the first time. I thought he beat Pascal the second time. But I didn't really think he was interested in fighting me. But
why do you think the fight's coming off now?
I think I think he was forced into the fight. I don't think it's the fight Bernard wants. I don't think he wanted it then. I don't think he wants it now.
What are you thinking now that the night is here?
I'm about to seize the moment. Show everybody why he's been ducking me. And show the whole world that I'm still the best light heavyweight in the world.
How are you going to seize the moment?
By going out there being a younger fighter, showing everybody that Bernard's 47 years old. I'm 29 years old, so, Pascal fought him the wrong way. Pascal fought at his pace. I'm not going to fight at his pace. I'm going to dictate the fight. I'm going to use my jab and pick him apart.
You've mentioned in the press that you're looking for a knockout. You're not usually thought of as knockout fighter. How are you going to get it?
A knockout can happen at any time. If Bernard wants to come in and charge him with his head like he's known for doing, I got something for that, but I'm not going and looking to go out and just rush him and knock him out. I'm not looking for that at all. That's not my style. Everybody knows it's not my style. I'm just looking to go out there and dominate him, beat him to the body, beat him to the head. I think by the 7th or 8th round, we'll have him wherever we want him, and we can get him out of there.
Thanks, Chad. Good luck.
And now as we return live to round 7 and watch action continue along the same track it's followed up to this point between Danny Garcia on the left and Kendall Holt on the right. Emmanuel Stewart, you briefly trained Chad Dawson for his last fight against Adrian Jacquinu. His whole personal style, the way he presents himself, suggests a lack of intensity. It can't be all that bad. He's got 30 wins and 1 loss, and he solved the riddle of Tomas Adamek, who nobody else could handle other than Vitaly Klitschko. But is there in some way a more passive approach to life into boxing there than is usually the case for fighters?
That is true. And he's probably one of the best talents ever maybe in boxing. The fact that the great Floyd Mayweather Jr. labeled him the best fighter pound for pound in the world, and then after he said next to me.
Yeah.
But the fact that he's such a talented fighter that he sometimes relaxes, doesn't have the intensity, I think, that a lot of the fighters have. In particular, Bernard Hopkins.
And again, it hasn't cost him that badly yet, although in the one loss to Jean Pascal last summer in Montreal, there were many who thought that he simply looked disengaged, didn't look interested enough in the fight until the 11th round, when he turned it around and seemed, to the eyes of many, on the verge of knocking Pascal out before their heads came together and created the unintentional headbutt cut that stopped the fight and gave victory to Pascal, who was leading on the scorecards, justifiably. Hobby box numbers at the halfway mark here had Holt 50 out of 147 and Garcia 75 out of 235. Garcia simply busier, landing more, and landing better most of the time.
Push off each other and fight out. All right, stop. My break. Come on, man. You guys can. You're in a clinch. You can get out of it.
Kendall Holt's left eye is beginning to close. And that would appear to be the product of the first right hand that Danny Garcia landed against him at the end of round number 2.
Because he hasn't landed that many head punches since then, but seems like Holt doesn't have the confidence in himself that Garcia has.
Time.
Listen, I don't want that out of control. Listen, I don't want that out of control. Listen to me. I don't want that out of control. You heard me?
Nice some water, bro.
You heard me? Give me the ice. Give me the ice. Go get that. Give him water.
Danny
Listen, I
Garcia
don't
better
want that out
hope
of
he
control,
doesn't
you hear
suffer
me?
a cut here.
I
He's
want you to
trained
stay
by
focused,
Angel
you heard what I
Garcia,
said?
his father, but his
Listen,
cut man,
want you to stay focused.
Rafael
Give me that
Garcia,
hand,
no
you keep that.
relation,
If you need a little bit
is
of air,
also
whatever, step around with
working
that.
with Chad Dawson
Okay?
tonight.
You gotta
Chad
start coming
Dawson
through my
upset
side.
that Hopkins, Bernard
Okay, baby.
Hopkins, has already had his
Sorry.
hands wrapped.
Where's the
And
Vaseline?
Rafael Garcia, who was
You heard me?
supposed to
Come
wrap
on,
Dawson's
breathe it.
hands, hadn't because he was in the corner with Danny. So just now during the last round, Rafael Garcia went back to wrap Dawson's hands and is now absent from Danny Garcia's corner.
It's wear and tear. Vaseline. Stay focused. You heard me?
CompuBox numbers on power punches through the 7th round. Holt 45 of 110. Garcia 72 out of 188. And fundamental to those 72, 33 body connects. As we mentioned at the beginning, it is Garcia who is the body puncher here.
Stop. Break.
The fact that Garcia doesn't have a cut man in his corner could become a real problem if he gets cut, which could easily happen, especially where they've had 2 headbutts that were serious enough where the referee had to stop and look and examine to make sure that neither one was cut.
Stop.
There's something new,
Break.
guys. 2 jabs coming in from Kendall Holt and a real good 2-punch combination ripped to the body by Holt.
Yeah, the first time Holt tried to jab a moment ago, or about 30 seconds ago, Danny ripped him with a perfect counter right-hand shot onto that already swelling left eye.
And as we always say, look at that. It's just that jabbing on his way in and the body shots, Jim, just opened up a left hook up top for Kendall Holt.
Yep.
Stop punching. Watch the heads. Watch the heads.
When you're standing around waiting to land the one big shot, it doesn't happen. When you go back to work, throw your punches in bunches, work behind your jab,
Right, nobody
and
punch.
let it
Stop,
develop,
Kendall,
then it
don't lay
does
on.
happen.
Let him go.
Maybe Kendall
on,
Holt's left eye, swelling left eye, is giving him a sense of desperation.
Urgency. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's letting his urgency is a better word, and he's letting his hands go more seriously now.
Body shots by Garcia. That's his money in the bank here tonight. Keep getting it to
Stop.
Kendall
Nobody
Holt's
punch.
rib cage,
Round, round,
investing
round.
in the body and piling up points. That's his game. That comes naturally to Danny Garcia.
Both guys, Garcia's jab is effective when he uses it, but they're not, neither guy's really going to it that much.
Good combination by Garcia. Holt was standing still, facing him, and allowed
Stop.
himself to be hit.
Break. Step away.
Neither guy is a defender, Emmanuel. Neither guy has head movement, really.
Neither one has head movement, but the most frustrating thing is Garcia is, to me, I guess a Moscow card, is winning fights, seeing by winging more punches than Holt. But if I was in Garcia's corner, I would be a nervous wreck because you can see that Holt has so much power, accuracy, and the precision when he does punch, and just be
Stop.
glad that he doesn't punch that much.
Come here.
Holt's eye is really swelling
Okay,
precipitously
hold on here.
now. That's why Jack Reese
Now
has
the
stopped
damage
this.
is from the head.
And
Okay?
now he
No
says the
blood,
damage is from the
ground.
head. You heard that.
Ready? Box.
At first it was from a punch. Now it's from the head.
Ooh, a little Mayweather action out of
There you
Danny
go.
Garcia.
Everybody wants to do it now.
Nothing wrong with that. Referee
That
says
wakes
action's
Holt
in.
up, who suddenly fires to the body and
stop.
manages to
Okay.
get Garcia to trade with him. And that's
Michael,
the best thing
Michael,
that could happen to
time out.
Kendall Holt
Come
at this
here,
point, is if Garcia is willing to
Don't
step
do
in and
that.
trade.
You got a great fight going. Don't do this shit now, okay? All right, get back. Time in. Time.
Well, you heard Max Kellerman tell you what's going on with regard to hand wrapping, and here's a look at 80-plus-year-old Rafael Garcia rewrapping Chad Dawson's left hand. He had it done once, and now he's undone the wrap and is going to start over. There's a discussion going on. There's a representative there from Hopkins' dressing room. This kind of gamesmanship has been coin of the realm. in past Hopkins fights, and Bernard's hands are both already wrapped. That's Danny Davis there, taking care of Bernard's left hand and finishing the wrap. And of course, the upshot of Rafael Garcia being in the dressing room with Chad Dawson at this moment is, as Max pointed out, he is not in Danny Garcia's corner. And if Danny Garcia were to sustain a cut in the closing rounds here against Kendall Holt, someone else would have to try to fix it rather than one of the most revered cut men in the modern history of the game, Rafael Garcia.
And I don't know if Garcia's father, anyone else, has any cut solutions at all. That's why I said all trainers, regardless of whether you have a cut man or not, you should all have your basic adrenaline chloride and those type things are the fundamental coagulants, because anything can happen.
Write that down, all you trainer hopefuls at home. This is the professorial Emmanuel Stewart giving you the kind of advice you need.
I saw one cut guy had, he actually got excited and dropped his bottle and it broke on the concrete. Fortunate I had my own.
Hard left hook by Holt. One of his better shots in a while. He's getting more active, although he only landed 7 out of 26 in the 8th round. Garcia had an excellent round, 19 out of 44.
Garcia's taken some big punches from a big puncher rather well tonight.
And his left eye is swelling. And, you know, we've mentioned the cut man situation. Obviously, Holt is probably unaware that Danny Garcia has lost his cut man. But if he were, he might be a little bit more energetic about targeting that left eye. Good body shot by Holt and a quick left hook inside. Now Garcia's backing up.
Now, until Garcia shows that he can get away from that punch, Holt should go right back to it.
As I said, if I was in Garcia's corner, I would be very, very nervous as this fight goes down the wire. Even with Holt's left eye closed, he still has so much punching power, and he's punching with so much speed and intensity and accuracy.
Well, Holt told us during the fighter meetings yesterday, since Garcia doesn't move his head, he can turn around and think he can hit him just by swinging in the middle.
But the thing is, usually once he gets in range, if Garcia starts punching first, he'll just go into a defensive mode of blocking the punch and never returning a punch back. So all Garcia has to do is throw a punch before he gets in, before Holt will punch heels, and usually he can stop Holt from punching.
Meanwhile, over in Garcia's corner, his father, Angel Garcia, has told us that he'll do the cuts if something happens. And no doubt he's done it before, because you have to be in the sport a little while. You have to thrive a little bit before your promoter begins to outfit you with the kind of corner that Garcia brought to the fight tonight. Hard right hand by Garcia over the top. Holt got careless and dropped his left. Left the left down again. Still careless, and Garcia clocked him twice.
Guy's been exchanging bombs.
And it's funny, it's like a looping right hand, but it seemed to be effective, though, for Garcia. The way it lands from angle, it seems like Holt can't see it.
Well, and given the way Holt's left eye is swelling, any right hand is a good idea for Garcia, but particularly a looping right hand that Holt doesn't see coming.
Garcia should be stepping around to Holt's left, to Garcia's right, where Holt would have a harder time blocking the right hand. You think he's scared to run into that left hook, Emmanuel?
Nope. Once again, Garcia beats him to the punch.
With a left hook.
Yep.
Listen, when you finish with the offense, think defense. He's catching you with wide shots. You can get up under them, okay? Now, when you get inside, don't let him. He's forcing the clinch. Just touch him, keep touching him. You got to make it look like you're being busy in there, okay? Let's go. What round we got?
10, 11, 12. That's all we got.
Okay, we need these last three.
Kendall.
Look at me. We need these last three. You got it? Not knocking. We need points. We got to stay busy. Keep backing them up with the double jab. That's all you got to do, and throw combinations. Stop looking for the knockout. You got it?
Here you see Garcia landing, which has been the most effective punch for him tonight for the most part. This club.
Well, actually, what we wound up seeing there was Kendall Holt landing a left hook.
That was that good left hook to the body, left hook to the head combination.
Yeah. Little change in signals, but you got the point at home. CompuBox numbers in that round. Holt 14 out of 36, Garcia 14 out of 37. Harold, how do you have it through 9?
You know, Jim, Kendall Holt gets busy once in a while, but certainly not enough. I've got Danny Garcia way ahead, 89, 81, 8 rounds to 2. I'm sorry, 8 rounds to 1. Danny Garcia. I mean, Danny Garcia. Holt walks in just like that. Harvey punches, and Danny Garcia nails him. And that's been the story of the fight. I mean, basically, it's all Danny Garcia's clean, effective punching, even though he's backing up. I mean, you could say Holt is the aggressor, but it's ineffective aggressiveness. And what they score boxing on is effective aggressiveness. 8 rounds to 1, Danny Garcia.
Looking back at the first 2 rounds, Emmanuel Stewart, which Holt more or less dominated up till the moment when Garcia landed a big right hand at the end of round 2. You think Danny, way less experienced in a crossroads fight for the first time, do you think he might have been tight?
Not really. He seems to be pretty comfortable. In fact, he's surprising me how comfortable he's gotten in this fight. But he's been brought along very well, and this was a big test, and he's passing the test as far as I'm concerned. And as dangerous as Holt is, he's still the type of a guy that won't pull the trigger if you punch first. And that's been pretty much the story of the fight. I think Garcia's fighting a very good fight.
Yeah, I really do think that coming in, the crossroads question is the younger fighter just too energetic. In this case, that's turned out to be the case.
Absolutely.
He's out energying with his youth and undefeated record and belief that he should win. He's just doing enough to win the rounds.
And his confidence is rising from round to round to round. And you heard Buddy McGirt working hard tonight, begging Colt to win these last 3 rounds, but Holt continues, as Harold Letterman pointed out, fighting in spurts.
Stop. Nobody punch. Let him go. Let him go, Ken.
And continuing the story of the cut situation in Garcia's corner were it to happen, Angel Garcia has just sent a representative from the corner to go find Rafael Garcia back in the dressing room and get some cotton swabs and other equipment that they could use to stop cuts if it happens.
That's smart. It's a good move. But you know, I haven't been in the amateurs with him. He's used to in the amateur program. As part of the coaches, they had to have their own cut solutions anyway, so it's nothing completely new. But a lot of time, once they get in the pros, they get to use, I have to have a cut man.
Good quick left hook by Garcia. Straight right hand over the top. Holt's hands are down. Danny's taking big advantage. He's not that much quicker than Holt. Holt's just become a careless defender these last couple of rounds.
Stop. No punching. Stop. Whoa. You gotta listen when I said stop, Billy. That was a natural break, bro.
We're going to give you a shot of something very interesting at ringside here.
Beautiful,
You
baby.
may remember the trilogy,
Listen,
which began with a win by Eric Morales, the only man ever to outduel Manny Pacquiao on American soil. And he just sat down with Pacquiao and had a friendly conversation with him. Of course, in fights 2 and 3, Pacquiao knocked Morales out, which changed Morales' career and for a while put him on the skids, but now Eric's back and, of course, tremendously approved of by the crowd here. But you just missed seeing the conversation between the two of them at ringside. And this is a live shot in the dressing room where Rafael Garcia is still working on the first of Chad Dawson's 2 hands. It's taken all this time for him to get the left hand into position for completion.
put it in.
Copy box numbers in the 10th round. Holt was only 5 of 38. Garcia is 22 of 48. Danny Garcia is rolling to victory now, unless Kendall Holt can pull something surprising in the last 2 rounds. Emmanuel Stewart, we talked about the conversation over on the side of the ring between Eric Morales and Manny Pacquiao, who fought 3 furious fights against each other. And that's one of the marks of this sport. 90% of the time when guys fight a trilogy, they get to know each other so well that they're friends, not enemies.
And they usually develop a respect. You know, Mickey Ward, Terrell Gaddy, I mean, from the first fight. And when they was going into the 3rd fight, when we was interviewing them, they were together almost as a team trying to outdo the first 2 fights.
One of the most beautiful and counterintuitive elements of boxing.
But in the case of Joe Frazier, Muhammad Ali, it's the only exception I know where the bitterness still holds up, in particular from Joe's viewpoint.
Yeah, Ali seems to always wanted a bond outside of the ring with Frazier, and Frazier didn't reciprocate. In boxing, you're not just doing it against each other, especially with guys like Morales and Pacquiao. You're creating something special with each other, and you go down in history together.
Now Pacquiao gets ready to complete another trilogy against Juan Manuel Marquez on November 12th. And that, if anything, has been an even better, more dramatic trilogy than what happened with Eric Morales.
Whole era of Pacquiao and Marquez, Morales, and Barrera was just amazing.
Hard right-hand body shot by Holt. His best connect in a while. That's the way to set up something upstairs.
Okay, turn around, babe.
But Jack Reese separates them to prevent their heads from coming together again.
You should put his head down, bro.
Big right hand by Garcia.
The looping right hand seems to land effectively.
Stepped back and admired his work for a moment, then seemed to realize, oh, there's time left in the round. Maybe I should go after him again.
Garcia's fighting a very good fight. I never thought he could control a fight this easy with those wide looping shots. But it's the fact that he seemed to have more determination and more desire than Holt, and that's been the big difference. Not so much just youth, it's just the fact that he wants to win more.
Better preparation for the fight?
Yeah, and he's willing to gamble.
There's a bit of a built-in rivalry, too. Holt from Jersey and Garcia from Philadelphia.
East Coast.
Now, Philadelphia winning right now.
Confidence rising from moment to moment. Garcia totally in control. He told Holt he would knock him out. He promised it. Holt ridiculed that claim. Sure, you're going to knock me out. What a joke. But now Danny appears to have a shot. He's landing more or less at will, Emmanuel.
Stop. Stop. Separate. Time.
Listen, you got this mother. You got him hurt, and you let him recover. Danny, when you got him hurt, give me water. Stand up straight. Let's breathe. Listen. Bring 3.
Getting hit with too many unnecessary shots. You understand? You understand?
Yeah.
Fuck that macho stuff. Keep your hands up and be smart this round. You understand me? If you see something, you take it. But don't sit there and take no unnecessary punches. You got it?
You use the jab, Dan, man. Listen, when you hurt him, use the jab. Follow him with the hard jab. Don't look for haymakers. Jab and set him up, because he's going to stop running.
The only time you get hit when you're going back. Here, water. Drink this.
Right here, you see one of the best moves in boxing when you can block a punch with your punch and come back with the same hand. Great left hook coming back because Holt never saw that because he was just throwing his right hand, and as it came back, Garcia traveled right back with a left hook at the same time. And this is going to be a very, very tough 12th round for Holt.
What Garcia showed you there is real coordination. Not every fighter can do that. Block a punch with the left and then immediately land the left hook.
Yeah, I think he got hit with it, but the fact that he made all of the motions of blocking it and coming back with the same hand that he would have blocked it with.
Kendall Holt tried a long right-hand lead. Garcia immediately countered with left.
Manuel, I know that Garcia's really taken the fight to Holt now, and Holt has not been able to hurt him yet. But Holt's a big puncher.
Yes, he is.
What's the danger of Garcia following Holt around should he hurt him again?
No punching,
Well, if he gets him hurt again, he should go all out to try to finish him. I mean, I just don't see the fire inside of Holt. I mean, he's got a good
Left hook by
punch.
Holt. Right hand by Holt.
So if you were in Garcia's corner, you would want him to back him up and try to finish him?
Yes, I would.
Well, that's what Angel Garcia asked
Well,
for.
I don't think that Garcia is that kind of a boxer that's that fast anyway. But, it's interesting. His daddy is still hollering for him to jab all night in his instruction between rounds, and he never has jabbed much this fight.
Buddy McGirt seemed to lack urgency and
Nobody
didn't
punch.
want Holt to go all out for a knockout, just wanted him to be careful in this last round.
Yeah, but if I was Holt, I would be going all out
Get
for
off
a
his head,
knockout.
Kendall.
I mean, he has nothing to lose.
He's got a minute and 40
Especially
seconds
being that he's such a big puncher.
to try to score a knockout in a fight he has clearly lost on the scorecards.
Stop punching. Break.
Well,
Stop. Nobody punch. Break.
it'll be a better outing
Let it go. Come on, let it go.
for young 8-year-old Keyshawn Holt at halftime of the Giants game tomorrow
Stop. My break.
when he and his midget
Separate.
football team take the field.
Stop. Break.
Yeah, Holt needs an onside kick. Needs to recover the ball and score a touchdown right now to win this fight.
That's exactly right. Lands a left hook
Stop.
upstairs, but it was an arm punch.
Turn around.
Holt needs somehow to plant his feet and land a right cross. Danny is bouncing and moving and making that difficult.
As you said that, Holt landed one and Garcia took it.
Stop. Break. You all right?
Jabs, Emmanuel. Danny just threw 3 jabs. There they were.
You had to remind me.
Break. Let him go, Dan. Stop at the bell.
Well, according to CompuBox, this is the largest number of punches Danny Garcia has landed in a fight we have tracked for him. And that means that he landed more punches against Kendall Holt than against the considerably lesser fighters he's been fighting up to this point.
He rose to the occasion.
Did you do it? Did you do it? Baby! Tell Philly how you feel.
Philly, Mom.
Philly, man.
Gianni Angelista, I love y'all.
It was easy.
Go Philly, stand up.
It was easy.
All my Latinos around the world, baby.
That's right. Everybody all the way black, too. It was easy work.
Harold, how'd you have it?
Okay, Jim, I've got it 11 rounds to 1, 119, 109, Danny Garcia. I think, you know, it's just his clean, effective punching just absolutely won his fight. Kendall Holt would walk in, and get whacked each time. I mean, you know, we always talk about effective aggressiveness. Just like I said before, this was ineffective aggressiveness by Kendall Holt, and Danny Garcia took advantage. He kept his hands moving, landed nice shots, won it on clean punching.
Want to profile the 3 official judges for us, Harold?
Absolutely. He's a very interesting official. Let me tell you about him. Wayne Hedgepeth, he got thrown in at the last minute. He's a former referee from New Jersey. He came out here, he refereed. He's not judged a number of fights. He's not really a judge. He took the fight at the last minute. Patricia Morse-Jarman, a very good judge from Las Vegas, one of the finer women judges in boxing today. A lot of confidence in Patricia. And Major Fritz Warner, retired Army man. I tell you, Jim, I like him very much. He's been judging a long time. I've disagreed with him a zillion times.
Well, you may have another chance to disagree with him tonight, although this was not a difficult fight to score, as you seem to have made clear with your 11-1 scorecard. Hard to imagine any surprises here as we throw to Michael Buffer for the official particulars on the decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, we go to the scorecards here at Staples Center. Wayne Hedgepeth scores the bout 115-113 for Kendall. Fritz Warner scores it 117-111 for Danny Garcia. And Patricia Morse-Jarman scores it 117-111 for the winner by split decision, Danny Swift Garcia.
Hey, back up a minute. Woo! Yeah! That's nice work,
I thought Garcia won the fight. I wasn't sure if it was 11 rounds to 1. I could see Holt winning more than 1 round, 2, 3, 4 rounds. Hard to give him 7 out of 12.
No, Harold Letterman pointed out that Wayne Hedgepeth is a referee, and that scorecard demonstrates and reinforces that he's a referee. He is not a ringside judge. If in any way, shape, or form he thought Kendall Holt won enough rounds to win that fight. That simply wasn't true.
Yeah, you know, it's a shame. One of the judges backed out. He had a title fight in Mexico, Jim, and they substituted Wayne Hedgepeth at the last minute. I mean, Wayne's a nice man. He's a terrific referee, but not a lot of experience judging.
That was a bad scorecard. And CompuBox numbers. You're going to see one of the reasons why we think it was a bad scorecard, as Garcia, by CompuBox count, landed 81 more punches, threw 160 or 183 more punches. And landed at a higher connect percentage. Yes, yes, and yes for Danny Garcia. Power shots, even more so. Landed 60 more. Threw 134 more. And connected at a 40% percentage, which is pretty good. So a clear win.